My great pleasure today to be talking to Sara Allen, real estate sales director and at Martinhal Family Hotels and Resorts. I want to talk to you, of course, about Martinhal, and I've had some incredible experiences there. I want to call it the Martinhal experience, both in Lisbon, over in Cascais. Didn't make it to Sagres,
You've got to go
unfortunately.
to Sagres. It's good for your soul. I always say,
Okay, I will do that.
It's good for your soul.
That's where it all began, isn't it? We will return to Martinhal. And the lovely experiences people can have with the group and all of the incredible developments that go on there. I've spoken to Chiado one or two times, and it's incredible what goes on at Martinhal. We'll return to that. We want to find out more about you, Sara, if we may, first of all, and your connection to Portugal, your love of Portugal. I understand you're taking part in the London Marathon as well. That's worthy of chatting about as well. But how did it begin for you in relation to your relationship with Portugal?
So back in 1999, I thought I'm going to go and see the world, travel the world, and become a holiday rep. And my first placement, they rang me up and they said, "You're going to Faro," and I was like, "Great," on whatever date, and I was like, "Amazing." And then I came off the phone. I said to my mum, "I'm going to Egypt," and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm going to Egypt. I'm going to Faro." She was like, "No, you're not going to Egypt. You're going to Portugal." I was like, "What? Where's Portugal?" Because my mum spoke fluent Spanish, so we'd always done holidays in Spain and never Portugal, basically. So I got the map out, worked out where I was going, and then turned up at Faro Airport and worked for Air Tours as a holiday rep back in 1999. No pyramids. So that was 1999, and it was back when Faro Airport had a Terminal 2, which was like a hut at the back of the airport. So it was a big learning curve for me. I was 21 years old, completely green. Literally, I'd done customer service at university, but nothing prepares you for that experience of working as a holiday rep. It's so hard. And we were working like 70-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks. We had bar crawls in Albufeira and Praia da Rocha, Portuguese nights. So nothing prepares you for that experience. But it was an amazing experience, real learning curve. And then then I did my first season there. Second season, they made you do the same resort. So I did Portugal again. And then my third season, I was meant to go to Mallorca. So this was my travel in the world. And I was like, hold on a minute, I actually like Portugal. I want to stay here. So then I became the airport controller for Air Tours at that time. So dealing with all the flights, the buses, bringing people in, checking them. We didn't do the check-in, but making sure everyone got smoothly arrived, smoothly departed from Faro Airport. But at that time, Faro didn't have the fog system, so when it was foggy, all the planes went to Lisbon or Seville. So we had some stories of busing 8 plane loads of people to Seville or up to Lisbon.
Hold on a minute. Sorry, there's so much in what you've said already. Airport controller, that sounds really grand, doesn't it? And a big responsibility in charge of all those people and the good time that they want to have. But before the fog system, I don't know about the fog system. What's the fog system?
So if it was foggy, which, as you know, Faro can get quite foggy. Basically the planes can't land or couldn't land at that stage. There was no sensor to bring the planes in. So at that stage, if you were driving into Faro and could see the fog, you knew these busloads of people were either going to go to Seville or Faro or Lisbon, basically.
Yeah. So how incredible! A plot twist for many people's holidays in that time.
Absolutely.
So your people who you thought were landing with you and going out to Albufeira straight away or something like that were instead in Spain or up in the capital.
Yeah. And the worst for me was when I was repping, and my flatmate was the airport controller at that stage, and she was like, "I need you to drive to Seville to meet these planes that have just landed in Seville." And I was like,
"Here's the keys."
I was like, okay. So I was driving into Seville, and I thought, hold on, there's 5 plane loads of people in Seville, and there's just one of me in uniform. I'm going to walk into Seville Airport and be annihilated. And so I rang. I was like, these people, are they still on the plane? Yeah, don't worry, Sara, they're still on the plane. Don't worry. parked up, just walking into the airport. She rang me back. She went, you know, I said they're on the plane. They're not. They're in the airport. I went, hold on a minute. I'm just about to walk into the airport.
Yes.
And so literally, as I pulled up, the first Air Tours, I don't know if you remember, they used to be branded Air Tours buses and Thomas Cook buses or whatever. So the first branded bus turned up, and we drove in Seville Airport. The departures is upstairs and the arrivals is downstairs. So we were driving down this ramp to go downstairs to the coach park, and the coach park was full of this 5 plane loads of people, and they just saw the Air Tours bus and they were like, yeah. And the bus driver turned around to us and went, do you want me to keep going? And we were like, yeah. But it was madness, and they couldn't tell us, because Seville Airport had sent 4 or 5 buses off to Faro with who knows what in, so we didn't know who we had in this car park. So it was a case of, where are you staying? Albufeira, right, get on that bus. Where are you staying? West of Algarve, get on that bus. This bus, that bus. And it was mayhem. But yeah, and then after I got all the departures gone, because the planes landed in Seville and they didn't have catering, because at that stage you used to have the food on the plane. The duty officer in the UK rang me and they went, just to let you know, Sarah, the people that were getting on the planes found out there was no food. So they got off to get into the cafe to get some food. But you're going to miss your slots and the pilots are going to go over time. So I found the woman that does the announcements at Seville Airport. And I was like, can everyone that's on an Air Tours plane get on the plane? Otherwise you're going to be spending the night in Seville. And they were... You
hijacked the PA?
Yeah, I hijacked the PA to get all these people on the planes. It was, honestly, it was mayhem. But you just sort of, you have to think on your feet and get on with it, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of those kind of job interview moments, isn't it? Please give us an example of where you've excelled in a customer service situation. Well, actually, the time
I can't say I excelled at customer service at that stage, but I got the job done. Let's just say
well, grabbing the mic. That's amazing. It's like something from a movie, isn't it? Like a Richard Curtis movie. Somebody going on the mic at an airport to make an announcement. That's brilliant. That's superbly resourceful, and I'm sure Air Tours bosses were impressed by that. And you became airport controller yourself. Then you got your flatmates after that.
Yeah. So she got sent off somewhere else. So I ended up being airport controller. So I spent numerous nights at Ria Park Hotel with overnight delays and stuff like that. So yeah,
you know the airport quite well then.
I do. And when I go back, I sort of see people, because it's the same lot of people that are all there, working for different companies now and stuff. So it's quite nice. But
a whole lot of different customer service issues at Faro now, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
With a tense time there occasionally.
I think I'm quite pleased I've steered away from that.
Somebody who knows the airport so well, can you give us any insider information in how to have the best possible experience of Faro Airport?
Do you know, this is bizarre for someone that's worked there. I get quite anxious with the airport now.
Maybe not then.
Only because I read all this stuff on Facebook and everything, as like everybody else does. So I just get there super early, because I just think, I just don't want that stress. So I'm never one of these people on the last minute, because I've dealt with those people that are on the last minute and they've missed flights and it's such a drama. And so I'm like the perfect passenger. I always turn up early. I always check it. So, it's be prepared. Don't leave everything to the last minute. Even like driving from Lagos to the airport, or Sagres to the airport, I'm always make sure I'm there. I couldn't be one of these people on the last minute, just because I've seen what goes wrong, basically.
Sure, no, I mean, I'm the same. I will be flying out of Lisbon soon, and it's been a while actually. So, how early? How many hours do you program?
I generally don't. I generally get there about 3 hours, only because of passport drama at the moment in Lisbon. Lisbon or I get there 3 hours now.
Okay, fair enough. Useful advice. So 3 hours before flight time is what you recommend.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, get in there, get past all the controls, and chill out.
And sit and have a coffee. That's all I do. I get there, so rather than stressing, thinking what's going to happen, am I going to be in a queue? just do it, and then you can sit and have a coffee, and you've just eliminated all that stress, basically.
With you all the way there. So that was your first experience of Portugal. And you didn't want to go when you had the chance to move to Spain. You decided to stay. So you were having a great time. You were having a busy time at work, but a great time presumably in your social life here in Portugal, and loved the country.
Yeah, love the country.
What was it like then? Can you describe it? Was it very different to how it is now?
I mean, I'm different. You know, I was in my 20s, so Praia da Rocha and Albufeira were great in those days. But I mean, now, if I had to go to Praia da Rocha, I went back repping a few years ago, like 10 years ago, I think it was, longer than that, maybe 20 years ago. And I had to do a bar crawl in Albufeira, and I was like, oh my God, this is horrific. I absolutely hate it. So I'm very different. My life is very different. So I think it is different. It's very different, but I think I've moved on as well in my life. To do a bar crawl in Albufeira or a Portuguese night or something like that, I would just be like, oh my God, this is.
So what do you love to do in Portugal now?
Just me. I eat a lot, and Portuguese bread, Portuguese food, Portuguese cakes. I love a good meal. I love catching up with friends. I've made some really good friends in Portugal over the years. And both sides, the Portuguese side and the English side. And that's what I like, that you can dip into the English culture. You can meet up with people in certain pubs or restaurants or whatever. But I also do the Portuguese side as well. I have some great Portuguese friends in Lisbon. Mainly I work with Portuguese people, so I go out with Portuguese people in the Algarve. It's both sets. So
many people want to do that when they get. I mean, there may be people watching who are moving to Portugal, and at that stage, people are drawing their information from wherever they can. In a sort of vicarious experience of coming here and living here. Has that happened through work, or is it easier because you are working or have been working in Portugal? Or, what would you say to people who are retiring to Portugal? How do they make Portuguese friends and connect with Portuguese culture?
You've just got to go out of your comfort zone and do it. I mean, I think I was very lucky because I've worked when I was in the tour operating business. I was mainly with English people. I worked with English people. I worked for clients that were English. So if you socialize with clients, it would be English clients. But since working for Portuguese companies, I am very lucky that I have Portuguese colleagues, and my partner's Portuguese as well. So I've also got that side and his family and everything. So yeah, and also when you have children, because I have Harry who's 50. I call him 50-50. He's half Portuguese, half English. So you tap into again a different type of people as well. And he went to like creche in Portugal as well. So you meet the family side as well. So it's
very good. So get out of your comfort zone if you can.
Exactly.
I mean, we're lucky, aren't we? When you get out of your comfort zone in Portugal, you're likely to have a warm reception anyway, given the heart of the Portuguese people.
And you try and speak. I mean, for many years in the Algarve, I had someone come to my house to teach me Portuguese. I went to a language school in Algarve. I did everything I could to master the language. It was awful because everyone speaks to you in English. Even if you want to try, everyone speaks to you in English. When I went to Lisbon, first went up to Lisbon to work for Martinhal, it was 2016. Before the big boom of Lisbon and Cascais and everything, or it was as it was happening, basically. And it was the first place that I actually used my Portuguese. I went into a shop, spoke in Portuguese, and people replied back in Portuguese, which doesn't happen in the Algarve. Doesn't really happen in the Algarve. So,
very interesting.
And that's where I first felt my Portuguese progressed was in Lisbon, basically.
Very interesting. I mean, the Portuguese people say that, don't they? It's where you go to learn English is in the Algarve. Yeah. So yes, that's great. And how's your Portuguese now then, as a result of that?
So I mean, listen, I'm lazy. I'm a lazy Brit when it comes to languages. If I can get away with it a bit, but it's quite nice in some ways because I sit there and people think I can't speak Portuguese, and then they're talking about something, and I'm like, yeah, and and they're like,
Very
ooh.
yes, yeah, excellent in the cafe. Yeah, wonderful.
Exactly.
Well, you mentioned Martinhal. Let's talk about Martinhal. Presumably, you went from airport control into working with Martinhal, presumably fairly early on in the
Via
Martinhal.
Winkworth. No,
Oh,
via
okay.
Winkworth. So I did Winkworth for a couple of years. So I was in the Lagos office for Winkworth for a couple of years.
Oh, I see.
So,
Who are a real estate
so
company in the
yeah,
Algarve. Right.
yeah.
Well,
So,
all over the
they're
world. That's a
UK
global
franchise.
brand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, UK. All right.
So, so I worked for them a couple of years, and then obviously the financial crisis happened 2009. The market basically ground to a halt, and Carol Spires, who is now Destination Algarve, she rang me up and she said they're looking for someone to look after the owners in Sagres, in Martinhal Sagres. Is this something that you would think about? And I was like, looking after owners, that's fine. So I went there to look. I was what they call the ambassador club manager. So I looked after the owners who had bought in Martinhal Sagres, and then Roman turned around to me and said, a year in or whatever, would you like to do the real estate sales as well? Because you know what you're doing. And I was like, well, there's nothing happening. The market's crashed and yeah, fine. It's not going to add anything to my work. And then, of course, the Golden Visa started, which made me look amazing because suddenly all these sales started happening.
Oh, good for you.
But it was, my workload increased dramatically, which was great, at the time. I've got to see places in the world that I've never seen. I went to China and Beijing and Shanghai and South Africa. I've been to the States numerous
you were
times.
outbound. You were outbound selling the Golden Visa idea, the golden ticket, really.
And Martin, yeah. So I've seen places in the world, met some amazing people, some amazing stories. And there's I know the Golden Visa's had a lot of bad press, but it's brought so many amazing people and entrepreneurs into the country, into Portugal. And Lisbon, I mean, we were selling Martinhal Chiado at the time, and Chiado was dead. It was old buildings. It wasn't a great part of town. I mean, I know it's a lot different now, but I just think the money that came in has really done places like that amazing things in Portugal.
Having stayed at Martinhal Chiado, it is fabulous there. Great if you've got kids, especially great if you've got kids. And you can certainly experience the rejuvenation that you've talked about. And there's a human side to that as well, which I think you're referring to as well. Hearing amazing stories. For some people, I think the Golden Visa is massively misunderstood. Some of the criticism, I guess, could be seen as fair, but that's not the whole picture, is it? There's so much more to it than the clickbait and the headlines and the snap judgments people come to. I've heard of stories of people, wanting a European passport to as a kind of insurance policy against the most terrible things happening to them and their family. And those are some of the stories presumably you've heard.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them is Plan B. I mean, when I went to South Africa, there's some seriously scared for me coming from Portugal. That's really safe. Going to South Africa, I was scared. I on my own as well. And even the taxi driver went to me, "You hired a car and you did this," and I was like, "Yeah," because I was so green, just doing my thing because I do it in Portugal, and but it was always a plan B for them, but some of them have made it their plan A now because of what's happened back home or something's triggered it. And I just think these people bring so much to Portugal, so much culture, so much friendship, and they make it the country that it is. I think I can't. The Golden Visa was great, to be honest with you. I know that it pushed prices up and there's that side of it. But it for what it's done for the country and the investment that it's brought in and the people that it's brought, people have opened businesses and really brought something to the country, basically.
Right. And still available by investment, of course.
By investment fund or charity donation or investment funds. Basically.
Right. So from Winkworth to Martinhal, and you've seen that. I mean, Martinhal is an incredible entrepreneurial, social, innovating enterprise, is it not? I mean, beautiful experiences at the front end, but quite the impact, I think, for Roman and Chitra in this, in what they've brought as well to Portugal.
I mean, they're such forward thinkers. If you think you work hard, you've not seen anything. Those two work like unbelievable. When I was in China, I always remember when I was in China once, I was sending messages to Roman, going, blah, 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 and I was getting instant response, and I was like, what's going on here? And I looked at it, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's replying to my about not, you know, they such forward thinkers. And sometimes I think, I always remember he rang me up and he went on a Saturday, I was in Martinhal, Sagres on a Saturday, he went, Sara, we're going to open a school. And I went,
yeah,
listen, you do hotels and you do hotels very well. Why are you going to open a school? We're going to open a school because you've got 152 units to sell in Oriente. And where are these families going to put their kids? So I'm going to open a school because there's a demand for it. And I was like, okay, okay. And look at what they've done. And they do everything so well. And also,
so you were involved with that, were you, with Oriente? That's a very traditional Portuguese touch you've got going on there, isn't it, with the barking dog? Very Portuguese, if I may say so. No, we like it. We like it. We just need church bells as well, and like a buzzsaw, a chainsaw in the background as well. And we'll have the full Portuguese ambiance in the background. So the Lisbon International School, the Oriente development, and how you were saying the attention to detail. That is an extraordinary renewal of that building, and presumably the area as well. That's brought something quite extraordinary to Parque dos Nações.
Yeah, I mean, that building is amazing. And if you haven't stayed there, I mean, location-wise is great. I stay there when I'm working up there, and I walk out in the evening, I walk out in the morning on my own, I run in the morning on my own, and it's just, all you see is other runners, other walkers in those times, and it's safe. I can walk to Vasco da Gama shopping centre, which is great when I've got a few hours on my own just to do a bit of shopping. Location wise for me is absolutely amazing. You know, it's so easy to get around. You're close to Oriente train station, so if you're coming up from the Algarve or down from Porto, you could walk to it. I just think, for me, and it's so well conceived, Parque de Nações. It's flat, it's purpose built, there's gardens, it just makes sense, Parque de Nações for me. It's
the dog has brought the cat here now. We've been joined by our animals for this resident podcast. Talking to Sara Allen today of Martinhal, and then hearing of this incredible development of the company and the social impact that they've had, entrepreneurial impact in the country. And that message, we're starting a school. That's been the most. I mean, that's not something you take on lightly, is it?
No, that's what I mean. They're so forward thinking, and whatever they do extremely. You know, there's no half-heartedness in them. And it also, from a sales perspective, if I promise something to a buyer, they 100% deliver, basically. You know, there's no, and if I say to them, listen, we've promised this, we need to absolutely, there's not even a quibble. It's like, boom, there you go. They promise, whatever they promise, they absolutely deliver, basically.
Incredible experiences. You won't be disappointed if you stay with. That's what I want to call it, the Martinhal experience. Wherever the manifestation is, you'll have the most fabulous time. Are there any new Martinhal developments or ideas that you can share with us at the moment?
Yeah, so I've got this. I've had a lull after Oriente. You know, the sales went extremely well, and I've had a little lull, but I'm going back into it full force. So we have 3 things on the market. So we've got one in Praia da Luz, which is coming on. So we're building 40 apartments down, 2-bedroom apartments down there. So there'll be more of our traditional holiday home, which is the market in Praia da Luz. So we're building that. It's already started. Then in Bella's Club de Campo, which is just north of Lisbon, near Sintra, basically. Nice gated resort. We're building 20 apartments there and 10 townhouses. But they're for living. Then we're not doing the usual Martinhal hotel there. They're apartments for living and or whatever you choose, holiday homes. Yeah. But it's not the Martinhal basically. It's us developing it and delivering it. And then next to the school, this is the exciting one. Next to the school, they're all exciting, should I say? But this is the next to the school, we're doing a hybrid student accommodation. So it's touristic apartments as well, but it's there's 300 plus studios there. We'll be doing our guaranteed return, completely hassle-free. But for me, what I thought, price-wise, we're going to be about 130,000. So to buy something in Lisbon for 130,000, where it's rented, maintained, fully furnished for you, hassle-free ownership, I just think is amazing, basically. So
is that, if I've understood that correctly, is that like a buy-to-let within the student academic
exactly.
realm?
Next door to our school, in the area called what we call the Edgy Hub, which is our technology hub, next door to the school. So it'd be student.
That means that older students, I don't know if you're doing further education at the school, but students can come and stay in Lisbon and go to the school.
Exactly. So not go to there will be a boarding school element to it, but what I'm actually selling is actually the students. So basically you could buy this apartment, it'll be young professionals renting it, students renting it. It's a way hybrid living, basically.
That's again very visionary. What an incredible niche and opportunity that is.
Yeah. So it's
very interesting.
So no, it's great. And then a couple of the floors we've said to people, because I know friends of mine in the Algarve that have got university students or coming up to university age, will allow them a pause clause on the rental contract. So if they see that their children's going to do an MBA in Lisbon or study in Lisbon, they can pause the rental contract with us. Their child can stay in the accommodation for the duration of their course, and once the course is finished, they give it back to us to rent on their behalf, and they receive the return, basically.
Very good. Okay, you can find Sara on LinkedIn if you've been interested by anything. These are all new things to me, and so more details from you directly if people connect with you on LinkedIn. Presumably, would be a good way to do that.
And we're at Sil in Phil in Parque de Nações in April. So this will be the official launch in April when we do the real estate fair in Parque de Nações in April as well.
The Phil is the exhibition centre, isn't it? So
exactly.
What's Sil?
Sil, I'm going to say it wrong. So any Portuguese, Salão, Imobiliária.
The big real estate show.
The big real estate show.
Lisbon and Portugal's big real estate show happen, and it's going to be launched there. I'd love to get to that, actually. That'd be great.
23rd, 24th, 25th of April.
Very good. What great news. So back to you then, and I understand you said you were a runner, and you mentioned before that you're taking part in the London Marathon. Is that is that the sort of thing you normally do?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I've always dabbled at running. It's something I'd love to be, one of these gazelles that just go out and put your running shoes on and run. But I'm more like a tank. So I know I will get there, but it will be at a slower pace, basically. So, during COVID, I sort of started to split my time a bit more between Portugal and the UK because of my parents. And basically, unfortunately, my mum got pancreatic cancer and passed away a couple of years ago. And I used Pancreatic Cancer UK a lot, their website, just to get information, just to gen myself up to know what was happening. And I did some volunteering for them as well. So, and then this time last year, they said, "Do you want to run the marathon for us next year?" And I was like,
they do.
Let's do it. So I've had to raise a huge amount of, as you do for charity places. I've had to raise a huge amount of money, and I'm in the block of training. Whereas every weekend I'm doing a half marathon basically every weekend. So
how is that? What's that like?
Awful.
The honest truth about running a marathon.
I do, I was talking to Ronan Chicho, I went, all I do is sleep, eat and run at the moment. And then I went, and work, obviously. Obviously.
Yes. That's a t-shirt, is it? Sleep, eat and run. And work in brackets. Yeah. My goodness. Well,
So
good luck with that. Sorry to hear about your mum. And if people want to sponsor you, they could do that again by going to your
yes,
LinkedIn page and
yes.
connecting with you there. Now, I think we've taken in this last part, that time has flown by chatting with you, and we've taken a lot of, I think, what we mutually love about Portugal for granted. You know, there's all these wonderful opportunities you've spoken of in your past here, and I'd love to hear a bit more about what you love about the country. You know, because it is easily taken for granted, isn't it? The lifestyle, the joy of living in Portugal. Can you tell us a bit more about that? That's, you know, really what Sara Allen's view of that and what you especially uniquely enjoy about Portuguese culture and life.
It's the coastal living for me.
Oh,
I have it in the UK, so I love being close to the beach. I love the openness. We've already touched on it. The openness of the people. I love the food. I love, you know, and I love the accessibility of the country. You know, you fly into Lisbon, it's 2.5 hours on a motorway where you very rarely see anybody going down to the Algarve or up to Porto. And I say to people, you can do the whole country in a day, and people are like, what? And I'm like, it's so easy, it's so small. And then when we went up to Lisbon, one of my colleagues from Sagres went, do you use the underground in Portugal, the metro in Lisbon? And I went, no way, because I imagined doing London Underground in Portuguese, and I was like, I am not touching that. Now you can't get me off the, like, even Roman's like, will you get an Uber sometimes? And I'm like, but I love like going on the public, you know, which is bizarre. I love going on the public transport. It's so easy.
And I'm wide-eyed on there. The architecture, the way they've styled and designed some of the metro stations is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Easy and so easy to get around, so easy to get from Cais de Sodré to Cascais along the coast on a train where you literally follow the coastline along. And there's some amazing beaches. I just love it. And also, as you can see I love being where you wake up and it's blue skies, even if it's a bit cold, even if it's a bit, you know, to have blue skies every morning just puts you in such a better mood, doesn't it?
We do have quite the contrast on our screens, I have to say, but I totally get that. I absolutely love the blue sky of Portugal. Even I took this picture behind me yesterday, and the air was cold, but there's so much to be said for a lovely blue sky like that, isn't there? And so do I get the feeling then that given your love of the coast and Cais de Sodré out to Cascais, will you be running that at some point? Are you thinking of doing the Lisbon Marathon, or is the London Marathon enough?
I always said I'd do one and it would be London, but now I've sort of started Googling, which is awful. I start Googling and I think, oh, maybe I could do that, because I've done the half marathon across Vasco da Gama and coming back in that. I haven't done the one that was just done, which is Vincent Gabriel down. I've done the Vasco da Gama one. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that was horrific. Half a marathon, that's me finished, And now I've done this, and like I said, I'm doing a half marathon virtually every weekend. I just think, it's all right, you know, it's all right.
You can take it in your stride, literally take it in your stride. Fantastic. One last question, then I'd like to ask, if I may. And of course, as I said, if you want to connect with Sara, you can do that on LinkedIn. That's the best way to do that, to find out more about Martinhal and to sponsor her for pancreatic cancer research, presumably in care of people. Via LinkedIn. Connect with Sara there, Sara Allen. Presumably coming back and forth, you might have a ritual when you arrive back in Portugal, and it sounds like you do like the food here. Is there a particular thing that makes you feel like, okay, I need to go and do this, and I know I'm back in Portugal?
Do you know, it's the chocolate salami. Don't laugh at it.
I wasn't expecting that. Right, okay.
So when I'm here, I bring, and also this is all I bring home. When I come to England, I bring like salt and bacalhau in my soup, and all the Portuguese like, you've got bacalhau in your soup, and I was like, yes, because my husband, he likes the back, so I have to bring, you know, we bring it backwards and forwards with us. Brilliant. But for me, I've got such a sweet tooth, so when I land, there's between Oriente station metro and Martinhal Oriente, there's a padaria portuguesa, and I always go in there and have like fresh orange juice and salami and all, like you know, it's the bread as well, you know, so that's my routine. But I do. I do have a dodgy suitcase when I do the other to come
Yeah,
back.
like somebody on this vehicle has got bacalhau in their luggage, and they're like, you know, you're sitting there like, not me.
But the worst was salt, because it's so expensive in England. Like a bag of salt, as you know, is like €1 in, like sea salt is €1 in continent.
Yes.
And I'm sure one day they're going to open it thinking that I'm Pablo Escobar or something transported.
It does look a bit dodgy. It does.
Yeah.
Why have you got bags of salt in? Why would anyone take bags of salt in their luggage? And that would show up as a strange X-ray as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sara, it's been great talking to you. I imagined you might have a bit of a ritual, you know, going back and forth. Maybe, you know, when you're back in UK from Portugal, you're having a nice cup of tea and a Marmite sandwich or toast or something like that. But I didn't expect chocolate salami. So thank you for sharing that with us. Good luck with the marathon and all the best. I'm pleased to give my best regards to Roman and Chicho over there.
I will do. I will do. Thanks very much,
Thank you very much indeed. Much appreciated.
Bye. Bye.